All right, so today we're going to be adding and subtracting fractions. And we know that we have to have a common denominator in order to do that. We've talked about this before, like if you had 2 apples plus 2 apples, that gives us 4 apples. But if I had 2 apples and 3 oranges, then before I said the total, I would want to change the apples and oranges to fruit. That way they have a common unit. So they're both fruit, so I can easily say 2 pieces of fruit plus 2 pieces of fruit gives me 4 pieces, or 2 pieces of fruit plus 3 pieces of fruit gives me 5 pieces of fruit. So I want you to think about that as we are finding a common unit in order to add and subtract fractions. And with these, they're a special type where one of the denominators is a multiple of the other. So that means that we're only going to have to change one of them. So with this first one, if I want to change my denominator to 9, what I'm going to do here is I know that I would have to multiply by 3 over 3. So remember, that's like multiplying by 1. So that's another way that shows that these are going to be equivalent. So if I multiply by 3 over 3, since 3 times 3 gives me 9, 2 times 3 gives me 6, 6 ninths is going to be equivalent to 2/3. So now I've got 7 ninths minus 6 ninths. So I've got a common unit. So I can subtract and get 1 ninth. 7 minus 6 gives me 1, so I subtract the numerators, but the denominator stays the same. So my answer is going to be 1/9. Now with the second one over here, if I want to change 3/8 to have a denominator of 24, if you're not sure what that is, I can think about what times 8 gives me 24. So 8 times 3 gives me 24. So that means that I also have to multiply the numerator by 3. So 3 times 3 gives me 9. So now I've got, and I don't think it's going to let me write that, but I multiplied that by 3 over 3. So I've got 9 24ths. So I've got a common unit now. So 9 plus 11 is going to give me 20. So my answer to this second one is going to be 20 24ths. And again, I've got common denominators, so I just add the numerators. So for today's lesson, that's what I want you to make sure that you remember. And I don't know if you can see it in the background, but I've got some Dunkin' Donut coffee, and then I've got a coffee cup. So our mystery word for today is going to be coffee. So you'll have a few more problems like this where you're going to have to change one of the fractions, find an equivalent fraction. Then you will be able to add the numerators. And so, be sure that you are showing your work on this. This is something that, you're not always going to be able to do in your head. So I want you to use your composition notebook or just a piece of paper to show how you are multiplying to change to a common unit. All right, so if you have any questions, let me know. Let's see, I think this is going to hopefully stop on its own now. We will have to see.